I think my technical team on the background have touched base with him if he's ready. As discussed, my name is Raymond Matlala, and I am from South Africa. I'll be moderating this session. I am from the South African Brics Youth Association based in South Africa, and we are an association that deals with Brics and the multi-fora platforms that are in relations to youth. The topic of this plenary session reads as follows: review on achievements, conflicts, goals, and priorities of the Brics grouping for the future. Our speakers will discuss results of cooperation, future development, previously achieved goals, and promoting new ideas and attracting new partners. And our first speaker, it is going to be Mr. Sydney Muenda, who is an Assistant Director from the Department of International Relations and Cooperations from the Republic of South Africa. They are followed by Valeriia, who is a very good friend of mine and a colleague. We've been working together for a number of years now. I also like to say that Valeriia also serves on the board of directors, independent board of directors of the South African Brics Youth Association, who is a GR director of the National Committee on Brics Research. We also have Henrique, Domingues, who is a special representative of International Municipal Brics Forum. And here he will be giving us a perspective on Brazilian growth and development of Brics Group. We also have Tatiana, whom I've also known through the Brics groupings for a number of years now, who is an expert on international cooperation. Thereafter, she is followed by Diana, who chaired the first session. Some of you have already met. Diana is the representative of the Project Office of International Youth Cooperation, Russia Brics, and Deputy Director, Head of International Relations Department, UNESCO Capital of Culture Foundation. We also have Deva Dethen, who's an expert in public relations and media communications, representatives of the Times of India Group in Russia. And he will give us a perspective around media cooperation with Brics and what initiatives should be taken to improve it. We also have Alexander Sokolov, who is the Deputy Director, Institute for Statistical Studies and Economics of Knowledge, Higher Schools of Education. He's going to give us a perspective on science and technology collaborations within Brics. We also have Elsa, who's a Junior Fellow at the National Research Institute of World Economy and International Relations, named after E.M. Primakov of the Russian Academy of Sciences. And therefore, we will then have a Q&A, and we will then close the session and wait for the next session. Ladies and gentlemen, let me hand over this opportunity to Mr. Sydney Muenda, who is going to give us remarks and perspectives in terms of Brics achievements, conflicts, goals, and some of the priorities that we look at, particularly in the next phase where South Africa is going to take the chairship of the Brics. Over to you, Mr. Sydney Muenda. Is Mr. Sydney online? Dear colleagues and participants, it appears that Mr. Sydney is not yet online. I know he was here, he probably went offline. In absentia, we will then move on to the next speaker, and we will bring in Mr. Sydney as he comes through. Yes. The next speaker is... All right, thank you very much, Mr. Sydney, over to you.
Thank you, Chair. At the outset, we wish to thank the organizers for your efforts in convening this important meeting. BRICS continues to grow as a partnership across all pillars of cooperation, namely political and security, economic and financial, as well as social and people-to-people cooperation. Whereas South Africa hosted an average of 56 meetings during its first chairship, in 2013, over 140 meetings were held under the Indian BRICS chairship in 2021, despite COVID-19 pandemic restrictions. This shows how encompassing our relationship is. The COVID pandemic has furthermore underlined the interconnectedness of nations, as the crisis has necessitated coordinated international action and collaboration. This collaboration has been of particular benefit to developing economies, which continue to shoulder the burden of poverty, inequality, and underdevelopment. The diverse nature of our economies is built on a common commitment to multilateralism and the principle of mutual respect, sovereign equality, inclusiveness, and strengthened collaboration. We have common commitment to focus on strengthening and reforming international governance system so that it is more inclusive, representative, democratic, with meaningful and greater participation of developing countries. Global governance reform is one of the founding values of BRICS and continues to unite BRICS members despite any domestic political changes. As South Africa, we continue to reiterate the importance we attach to the need of reforming the United Nations Security Council, which does not give equal voice to different regions of the world, particularly Africa. Chair, we wish to highlight that BRICS cooperation is also supported by strong cooperation across business, academia, and civil society, and that the partnership seeks to strengthen and deepen these pillars. The establishment of the BRICS Women's Business Alliance as a forum of women entrepreneurs, which strengthens the focus on gender participation in the global economy, is a useful complement to the BRICS Business Council engagements. In this regard, BRICS cooperation provides tangible benefits for South Africa through science, technology, and innovation, energy, health, education, cooperation, as well as through BRICS financing for infrastructure development, capacity building, research, educational and skilling, trade, investment, and tourism opportunities. It is important to highlight that South Africa's trade with other BRICS partners has increased from 268 billion in 2011 to 540 billion in 2020, with an increase recorded even amid the pandemic lockdowns. The 13th BRICS Summit welcomed many action plans in various areas of cooperation. This is an important move that goes beyond strategies to concrete benefits for our people. It is normal that political disagreements in some areas exist, but that is not unique to BRICS and has not posed any significant obstacle to the overall cooperation. The furthermost positive example of our great cooperation is creation of the new development bank, NDB, which is now fully operational and has started to expand its membership. The NDB has shown the institutional resilience of the partnership and has enabled a rapid response to the challenges of COVID-19 pandemic. It is worth highlighting that the establishment of the NDB was a recommendation from the BRICS Academic Forum that was taken up by the leaders. To date, 10 projects valued at approximately 4.4 billion have been approved for South Africa, aimed at improving service delivery in critical areas The bank also granted South Africa 2 billion emergency loans for COVID relief. The membership expansion of the bank to include Bangladesh, Uruguay, and the United Arab Emirates as part of its expansion plan is commended. The negotiations with potential African members are at an advanced stage. Chair, BRICS is an important platform in support for African development agenda through inclusion of the continent's objectives of development, infrastructure, and industrialization on the BRICS agenda. It is for these reasons that South Africa initiated the BRICS outreach during its chairship in 2013 by inviting African countries to the summit. This inclusion points out to the fact that BRICS is not an elite and exclusionary club, but an important body that aims to act for the broader interests of the global South. There are many examples of positive lessons learned since South Africa joined BRICS cooperation. South Africa continued on its bridge building efforts amongst BRICS members by way of bringing a pragmatic and constructive role to mediate any tensions that may exist between or within members, thus enhancing a cooperative spirit as an indication that harmony and solidarity in the group is an important key, even when discussing controversial issues. Notably, 2023 will also mark 10 years since the institutionalization of both BRICS Think Tank Council and the BRICS Business Council. As South Africa, we attach high importance to the role of this BRICS Think Tank and BRICS Council, as well as the BRICS Women's Business Alliance, in monitoring and evaluating the partnership and ensuring that benefits are concrete and address the needs of the people in real time. As I'm about to conclude, the economic consequences caused by the pandemic, which are being felt disproportionately in emerging markets and developing countries, require a deliberate economic cooperation as a key to any post-pandemic recovery, and in further addressing the triple challenges of poverty, inequality, and unemployment in South Africa. It is with no doubt that BRICS cooperation contributes both directly and indirectly to the priorities of a better South Africa, a better Africa, and a better world. Chair, as in closing, BRICS cooperation will continue to shape our country's responses to inter alia infrastructure deficits, access to affordable medicine, regional threats to peace and security, trade and investment issues, and the challenges of creating a global information society. We will, in this regard, continue in the same trajectory during our chairship of the BRICS partnership in 2023. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sydney. We appreciate the contribution that South Africa is making onto the BRICS grouping. In some of the remarks, around the Security Council, where at the UN Security Council, where we are trying to change that trajectory. We commend the working together of BRICS, the collaboration of BRICS in trying to fast track that process. I'd also want to just make a remark that we must also remember that BRICS contributes to or comprises of 41% of the world's population. Therefore, making the grouping quite significant in terms of the global population. And also it contributes about 24% of the world GDP and 16% share in the world trade. And those numbers are quite significant in a sense that it is only comprises of only 5 countries of the 192 recognized countries in the world, in the globe. Therefore, I would like to leave participants with the message to say, please do look up to this history and the figures of BRICS and some contributions that it does around the world, and keep your questions and your comments for Mr. Sydney as we move on to the next speaker. And while we do that, during the period of the Q&A, please raise your questions and your comments to Mr. Sydney. Thank you very much, Mr. Sydney, and we appreciate the time. Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker is a very good friend of mine, Valeriia, who is the GR Director at the National Committee on Research, National Committee on Brics Research in Russia. Over to you, Valeriia.
Thank you, Raymond. I hope you can see my presentation. Thank you. So I will start. Maybe I will need more than 10 minutes because I prepared some slides for you to trace the Brics in progress and to look up for the key strategic achievements and to give some recommendations. So for the last 5 years, Brics countries have steadily enhanced their trade and investment cooperation. First of all, Brics countries' mutual trade in goods in the period 2015-2019 outpaced their overall merchandise trade and world trade as a whole. The Brics financial and institutional investment promotion infrastructure was strengthened. As the previous speaker said, the new development bank significantly increased its credit portfolio. Technical assistance facility of the NDB became operational. The interbank cooperation mechanism provided for closer cooperation of the national development banks. Memorandums of understanding were signed in 2019 between national organizations on trade and investment promotion, as well as on private investment within Brics. Sectoral regulatory dialogues produced valuable practical results in the sphere of custom cooperation, competition policy, and intellectual property. The substantial unrealized potential remains in the field of service trade, especially taking into account the growing digitalization of trade within the sector and mutual private investments within, which have a very low share in the Brics overall inward and outward foreign direct investments. Therefore, additional practical tools for the support of these activities are needed. Collective efforts should be also increased in the fields of trade facilitation and technical regulation to support regional value change in the post-pandemic period. Main progress was achieved in technical and technological cooperation. The Brics Partnership on New Industrial Revolution was established. The formation of the Brics Green Technology Platform was initiated. The Internet platform for technology exchange among Brics countries has been launched in the promising framework of Brics UNIDO interaction. In the period 2015-2020, no special measures, programs, or projects apart from research were carried out to develop practical cooperation on the optimization of industrial value chain, as well as on the development and improvement of minerals production and processing efficiency. Sustainable functioning of industrial value chain may become an operational priority for Brics in the post-pandemic period. The cooperation in the field of energy has been intensifying with the annual energy ministers meetings, complemented by regular activities by the Committee of Brics Senior Official on Energy, the Working Group on Energy Conservation and Energy Efficiency, and mechanisms for consultations on energy issues within other fora and organizations. We witnessed the launch of the Brics Energy Research Cooperation Platform and ever-increasing activities within the Brics Youth Energy Agency. NDB has supported 14 energy projects in all 5 countries, totaling more than 3.5 billion in 2020. In terms of scientific developments, 10 research projects in the energy sector have been launched within the Brics Science, Technology and Innovation Framework Program. In 2020, this program presented the first research on the issue of the use of natural gas as a motor fuel, researches and publications on energy issues and policies of the Brics countries, and an overview of the energy technologies of interest to the 5 countries are being developed. However, the practical involvement of real market participants in energy cooperation within the framework of Brics is still insufficient. Therefore, there is a need for further development of practical mechanisms to encourage energy companies, scientific and educational organizations to participate in the proposed Brics cooperation formats. Over the past 10 years, the turnover of agricultural projects and food between the BRICS countries has almost doubled in value terms. The leader in the growth of agricultural commodity turnover between BRICS countries is, of course, Russia, followed by South Africa, India, Brazil. This testifies to the growth of commercial attractiveness of national agricultural food markets and decrease of tariff and technical barriers in trade. The BRICS countries presented national experiences in implementing social support programs for food security and nutrition elements, and identified further areas for collaboration on social support with food components. One of the key tasks is to continue efforts on promoting the establishment of more comprehensive nutrition sensitive social protection programs and systems aimed at enhancing food security and nutrition, and further supported by complementary measures to enhance agriculture sustainable production and productivity, including through the strengthening of family farming, reducing food loss and waste, promoting the local purchase and other instruments towards the inclusiveness and efficiency of food system, income earning opportunities and purchasing power of poorest, access to health, education and basic services, and awareness of healthy food and healthy diets. It is of high importance to promote partnership among BRICS countries aimed at the development of a knowledge sharing network and platform of best practices and improvement of social protection systems that foster better food security and nutrition. Within BRICS STI cooperation, a solid international regulatory framework is established. Almost 100 STI projects have been successfully implemented within BRICS STI framework program. This project is increasing funding for new projects, which is the fundamental basis for cooperation in this association. By now, the board of directors of the bank approved about 64 investment projects with a total over $20 billion, including five sovereign loans to help its members to overcome COVID-19 sicknesses. One of the main goals in this field is the need to increase the capacity and effectiveness of the contingent reserve arrangement, resulted not only in high quality fundamental and applied research, but also enhance the overall STI potential of the BRICS nations. Thus, the current BRICS STI initiative becomes more visible not only in bilateral and multilateral activities of BRICS member states, but also on the global level. The fruitful and efficient interaction resulted in generally positive STI indicators, with the most visible growth of R&D expenditures and investments of BRICS nations since 2015. The operating strategy outlines the STI cooperation framework. However, a more systematic and active approach is required, and new effective tools and mechanisms for the BRICS STI cooperation are needed. It is also important to note that the existing framework requires a long-term evaluation horizon, since STI outcomes are not fully observable when assessed on an annual basis. Activities of NDB have become one of the most significant practical results of multilateral cooperation among the BRICS countries in recent years. The NDB, as a mechanism to support the balance of payments of the BRICS member states, taking into account the US dollar liquidity problems. Another important task is to ensure the settlements in national currencies, which should inter alia reduce transaction costs for leaders and investors. Increasing the use of national currencies of the BRICS countries will decrease dependence on the rapidly changing situation in the global economic centers. In the coming period, additional efforts of BRICS will also require to fully implement the International Monetary Fund quota and governance reform, so that the weight of BRICS in the global economy is brought to line with the weight in the IMF decision-making mechanisms. Mechanisms for BRICS interagency cooperation, coordination, and joint action have mainly been established and some practical measures taken. However, there are no BRICS regulatory documents adopted yet. Next sphere is people to people, and BRICS has also been committed to advance cooperation in socially vital areas and promote human capital development and people-to-people connectivity since its first meetings. So the strategy for BRICS economic partnership set forth a broad range of actions on education, tourism, business, and labor mobility to further stimulate interaction among BRICS countries, people, and societies, and strengthen mutual understanding and friendship. The BRICS member states laid a solid foundation for cooperation in education, establishing the BRICS Network University and the BRICS League University, but also promoting other individual projects and programs as this forum, as other youth forums and programs. In the field of tourism, the 5 countries expanded mutual ties and signed several bilateral agreements to promote hospitality sectors connectively between its members with visa issuance facilitation, modernization of enterprises and industries, and modernization of occupational health systems. Significant progress has been attended on the promotion of business and labor mobility in this sphere. Nevertheless, one could claim that progress on those issues was still modest, and renewed commitment to people-to-people connectivity is vital to counter the COVID-19 impact on the BRICS economies and societies. The last sphere would I like to trace the progress of BRICS is the ICT, and in this sphere of cooperation, the overall project is yet limited, mostly due to recent launch of cooperation in this field. While at this stage it is focused on the identification of priorities and formation of working mechanisms. Annually, ministerial meetings which identified common priorities started in 2015. Since then, key working tools were set up and include BRICS Partnership on New Industrial Revolution, Digital BRICS Task Force, BRICS Institute of Future Networks. Besides that, several events, including the BRICS Trade Fair in 2016 and the annual IT Forum of BRICS and Shanghai Cooperation Organization, were held to develop contacts between BRICS IT and information technology-enabled services industries. Practical cooperation includes the financing of projects in the sphere of IT using NDB resources. At present, 2 projects aimed at the digitalization of BRICS economies have been approved by NDB, namely extension of fiber optic internet connectivity in Brazil and construction of a smart water management center in China. The pace of cooperation development in the field of IT should be catalyzed. Differences in specialization, which are on the contrary a potential advantage, remain a challenge in defining key priority areas of cooperation in this field. However, during the period of realization of the strategy for economic partnership, BRICS countries have overcome this barrier and recently established the first working tool expected to bring tangible results in the near future. Financial support from NDB and national development banks for ICT projects, especially those developed by more than 2 countries, might speed up cooperation in this area. So I will stop here, and if you would like to trace further progress of BRICS in different spheres, which are included in the strategy for BRICS economic partnership, so you may get acknowledged with this overview, which is available for free on our website. Thank you very much, Chair. I will stop here and look forward for your questions.
Thank you very much, Valeriia. I'm sure the participants have got many questions and comments. We will share about that at the end of the session. Colleagues, without wasting any further time, next on our speaker, we call upon Mr. Henrique Domingues, who is a special representative of International Municipal BRICS Forum. Over to you, Mr. Henrique. Mr. Henrique, are you with us? Colleagues, I am just checking on Mr. Henriques. I will be while the team assists me in getting hold of Mr. Henriques, he is connecting. All right. I was going to propose that we move on to the next speaker, and he can present his perspective after the next speaker. While we do that, perhaps I could ask my colleague, the next speaker, Tatiana Seliverstova. Are you here?
Yes, hello. Good afternoon, dear friends.
Awesome.
Good afternoon.
Over to you, Tatiana.
I'm fine, thank you so much. I'm so happy to be a part of this beautiful Brics forum. I'm so happy that my friend, my old friend, Akil Mohammed, create this forum with the young leaders from the old Brics countries. How you know, I am also for many youth projects and programs for Brics countries. For example, in 2014, in July, we organized first Brics Youth Forum, and it was non-official forum. Government people did not participate in this forum. But after 1 year, we organized together with Federal Agency for Youth Affairs of the Russian Federation, first official Brics Youth Summit. And how you know that this summit we organize every year in summertime before Summit of Presidents of the Brics countries. And it's good results because people from the government side provide us and help us to organize new projects and programs for young leaders. And today I wanted to have a presentation about new programs and projects for youth, for Brics youth, and for Brics non-commercial organizations. For example, for the next year, we will organize a new program. Name of this program, Top 100 Brics Entrepreneurs. So this program for young businessmen who want to make international business, who want to provide their interest for Brics countries. In January, we will start this program. And the award for entrepreneurs, citizens of Brics countries under the age of 35, the owners and co-founders of business. So top 100 best participants will be invited to the Brics International Forum that is holding on the Russian Federation territory in July 2022. So already we have a big community for Brics countries, for young people who work in non-government organizations. But my major goal to organize a community for young entrepreneurs who want to make innovation, international business projects, who want to provide youth initiatives, who will be sponsored for youth initiatives of Brics countries. And also I have some proposals to make many same online forum. For us, it's very important to have exchange opinions, change opinions and practices of other countries. And I hope that together with Brics country, we will continue to organize new projects and programs, not for only young people. We will invite many people who work in government sphere, who work in educational sphere. For us, it's very important to make a grow up of community of experts. And Valeriia already said about it, that it's very important to work in different spheres like energy, like business, like that. And in the final, I want to invite to everyone to be a participants for the second Brics Youth Camp. You know that in this year we organized first Brics Youth Camp in Russia. It was a huge event. It was like 3 weeks. And for the next year, we will invite everyone who participate this Brics Forum and I hope that you will participate. I know that the BRICS youth movement is important in the development of international economic and humanitarian cooperation. And it's very good that presidents, prime ministers of BRICS countries every year have a presentation about humanitarian youth cooperation. So we can see that our official people have a big interest about our activity and our cooperation. Thank you so much for your attention. I hope that this forum we will organize again and again. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Tatiana. Indeed, we are looking into hosting a physical event in India, as this will be the second phase of this particular forum. And going forward, we are looking to host this forum as an annual event, and to attract more youth and more projects, some of our pragmatic projects and scalable projects that you know, young people around the world, BRICS Plus can start implementing with the support of all our countries and our experts, which we have in this group and outside of this group. Thank you very much. I will move to the next speaker. I am informed by the team that Mr. Henrique Domingues is ready. Over to you.
Thank you very much. Yes, I am ready to talk with you guys. My name is Henrique Domingues. I am from Brazil. And I would like at first to salute everyone who is taking part in this important conference. It's very important for the youth people from the BRICS countries together in every opportunity that they have, and also to thanks to the organizing committee of this conference to inviting me for such a sensitive panel of this conference. I am in my university now, so I am skipping fastly a class to talk here because at my point of view, it's very important to share with you what happened to my country when we started to take part in a more actively way in these BRICS initiatives, right? Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa gathering together in order to propose and to promote a new way of develop diplomatic, economical, and solidarity relations amongst the nations of the whole world. So when countries of that size, of that importance at the global level and also at the regional level started to gather together, it started to promote new projects, it started to promote new ways of developing their economical relations and their diplomatic relations. Of course, it will scare the current status quo, the current establishment of the Western countries, and this made after the 2014 BRICS summit that took place in Brazil, in the Fortaleza city, when we had this Dilma Rousseff as president of our country. It started a series of movements from the international interests within our country, and it led to a series of events. So we can't debate about the BRICS initiative without having clear all the threats that we have when propose such huge project. And this international affairs, international intervenes within our country, just promoted a coup d'etat in Brazil, which leads now to a huge fall of our economy in our country and a fall of our democracy. We are facing a huge crisis of democracy in Brazil, and it all started when in 2014 Dilma Rousseff announced to the world that BRICS was launching, the BRICS countries were launching a new development bank in order to finance infrastructural and commercial projects amongst the BRICS nations and the nations who want to work with the BRICS, but also the willing of the BRICS countries in overthrow the dollar as official currency within the commercial relations. We can see now China, Russia, and other countries, Iran, Venezuela working hard in overthrowing dollar as like an only currency to do international business. And that was like a huge punch in the establishment of this Western country. So the BRICS, of course, the BRICS alliance, it's not interesting for this Western establishment, but even though the Western establishment works hard in order to destabilize politically and economically all those countries which composes BRICS, because such things are not happening only in my country, in Brazil. We could see some foreign destabilizations in South Africa, in Russia, with these border issues between India and China, within all these borders issue. These are problems which are promoted from international agents, of course. We can't have doubts. In our country, we have no doubt that such destabilizations were promoted by international agents, international trained agents. One of them now in my country, it's a pre-candidate to become a president. It was the former judge who arrested our former president Lula da Silva with no proofs of any crime committed, just in order to make another candidate win the election, which led to election of Bolsonaro in Brazil. So even though we have all those attempts of destabilization, we also have our non-governmental organizations like we are having now, and another dozens of initiatives working hard to keep the idea of the BRICS countries together, because it's quite important not only to build the BRICS countries by the top, by the heads of states, by the representatives of our governments, but also amongst the mind of the people, amongst the non-governmental organization, amongst the friendship and the solidarity between all the BRICS countries, peoples, because in general, all those peoples were attacked, were colonized, were renegade by this Western alignment. So for the Brazilian, and just to add a point and to move forward to my conclusion of this debate, for the Brazilian side, the important things to build by the non-governmental organization, the most important tasks, in our opinions, and what we are focusing our efforts in order to consolidate and to create new bridges of scientific cooperation, educational exchange, and of course to create more partnership directly between the BRICS countries' universities in order to promote between the students cultural exchange and the cultural approximation, but not only the scientific, educational, and laboral cooperation we have to promote. It's very important to strengthen commercial ties. All those nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, are preeminent parts in their regions when we are talking about foreign trade, international business, and strengthen these ties between those nations of commercial exchange in order to provide amongst themselves all the products needed in order to keep the economy running in those countries is also very important, because once we realize that we don't need at all these first world countries, this Western establishment to keep our economies running, and China is teaching a really important lesson to the world with this Belt and Road Initiative, popular known as New Silk Road. We will be able to not, how can I say, we will be able to not be hostages of the dollar anymore within the international commerce, or also hostages of all these sanctions and blockades that they infringe to other people, like they do with Cuba, they do with Venezuela, they do what they do with the democratic the Democratic Republic of Korea. And so our major goals, what the Brazilian side expects most from the BRICS initiative, is the strengthening ties of exchanging in education, in science, and the labor and production in exchange, but also the closing, the strengthening ties of our commercial relations. This is very important in order to move forward to the future. And as I told you, this Belt and Road Initiative from the Chinese government, from the period of President Xi Jinping, is very important in that direction. So we have to keep that in mind in order to strengthen the BRICS initiative, in order to keep our people closer, and in order to create a strong basis, a strong allies in order to BRICS countries develop towards the future. That's it. Thank you very much for this opportunity to take part in this very important conference.
Thank you very much, sir. That was very interesting speech that you gave in the perspective of the global order, and taking into perspective BRICS and the other countries and where BRICS lies in this global orders. Thank you very much. I would also like to just make a comment around the configuration of BRICS. So you would know that BRICS is a transcontinental, or has a transcontinental footprint, which stems from members from Africa, Asia, and Eurasia, and South America. So you could see in terms of the reach of the BRICS, and how, in terms of the reach and the geographic of BRICS, it is quite inclusive. It's some of the facts, small facts that we would like to alert to our participants in today's session. Thank you very much. I will then move to our next speaker, Diana Covella, who is the representative of the Project Office of International Youth Cooperation, Russia BRICS, as well as the Deputy Director, Head of International Relations Department. Over to you, Diana.
Thank you, Raymond. Thank you, all of the members of the organizing committee. I'm very happy to participate in BRICS Plus Forum, to see so many friends and to share our experience. My name is Diana Covella, and let me introduce the Russia BRICS International Youth Cooperation Project Office, which is based in Ulyanovsk, Russia. The project office was founded in 2020, and since then, different projects designed to support and improve cross-cultural ties between young people from the BRICS countries are being conducted by our team. So let me tell you a little about the major events and the priority plans of our project office from the last year till 2023. In September 2020, the Russia BRICS International Youth Cooperation Project Office has been launched in Ulyanovsk. The goal of the project office is to unite the efforts of federal and regional government bodies, public organizations, the students' community, in order to support the systemic interaction of young people and youth organizations in Russia and the BRICS countries. Right after that, the educational course for the active members of the project Office have been held in September 2020. 50 English-speaking participants from Ulyanovsk have mastered the basics of intercultural communication, public diplomacy, international youth entrepreneurship. In October 2020, we took part in partnership events for cooperation with the BRICS countries. The first of them was the Forum of Young Diplomats of the BRICS countries in Kazan, Russia. And then we participated in the BRICS Academic Forum online. It was held in Moscow. At the end of November 2020, Ulyanovsk hosted the 6th International Youth Summit of the BRICS countries and the Meeting of Youth Ministers, where 60 participants from Brazil, India, China, and South Africa living in Russia discussed the current situation and opportunities for the development of youth cooperation between the BRICS countries in a wide range of areas. The summit resulted in signing of the final resolution. In February 2021, there was an Instagram live broadcast between the deputy head of the Department of Youth Project and Programs of the Federal Agency for Youth Affairs, Tatiana Seliverstova, and me. And that was the first time when in the media space we discussed the regional youth policy, potential areas of activities, and the key events of the Russia BRICS Project Office for International Youth Cooperation in 2021. In April, we had a very nice experience of the International Youth Forum on Public Diplomacy, InterYes, which we conducted in Ulyanovsk. 80 participants from 9 countries of the world attended expert sessions, pitch sessions, a 4-day workshop on public diplomacy project. 9 educational sessions devoted to intercultural dialogue, project management, and resource provision on project were held. The participants developed 6 projects on public diplomacy for subsequent implementation under the guidance of mentors. In June and July, Instagram live broadcasts were held with young leaders from the BRICS countries, Xiaomei Li from China and Mohammed Akil from India. We discussed international youth cooperation. In July, the first meeting of young foreign leaders from 16 countries of the world, the alumnus of the public diplomacy program Meeting Russia, was held in Ulyanovsk. Meeting Russia acquaints foreign participants with modern Russia, with the political and cultural structure of the Russian regions. The member of the Russia BRICS Project Office from Russia, South Africa, China, and India have become the participants of the project. In August, members of the project office took part in the 7th BRICS Youth Summit on Zoom. By tradition, the summit is held in the country that chairs the 5. So this year, it has been conducted under India's BRICS chairmanship. My colleagues and I were talking about the activities of the Russia BRICS Project Office for International Youth Cooperation, key events and plans for the future. The member of our project office and our project's participants took part at the International Youth Forum Eurasia Global, which was held in Orenburg on the 2nd to 8th of September. My colleague Kira Ivanova, the coordinator of the Project Office Russia BRICS, has presented the main events and the plans of our project office from 2020 till 2023. The members of our Project Office Russia BRICS, Akil Mohammed, founder and chairperson of the International Youth Edu-Skills Foundation and president of Asian Students Association in Ruden University, and Zhang He, the vice president of the China-Russia Youth Exchange Association of the Russian Federation of Chinese Students, have become the winners of the grand competition of the Gorbacheva Fund. And today, Akil's project, BRICS Plus Youth Forum, generated during the InterYes Youth Public Diplomacy Forum in April in Ulyanovsk, by the way, has gathered us all here, and we are happy to take part in such an interesting and important international event. Zhang He has won with the project of Russian Chinese International Youth Forum, which will be held in a hybrid format in March 2022 in Russia. In September, we had our BRICS International Youth Camp, as Tatiana mentioned, and we plan to hold it in 2022 and 2023 as well. About 150 young leaders from the BRICS countries shared their knowledge, experience, and learned new things about business, creative industries, and volunteering during 3 shifts. The purpose of the camp is to promote the further development of practice-oriented cooperation between youth leaders and organizations of the BRICS countries. On September 27 participants have laid the first symbolic foundation stone of the BRICS city, which is going to be built in Ulyanovsk region, and placed a BRICS city sign as well as a milestone indicating the distance to the capitals of the BRICS countries. On the 20th of October, our project office organized the International Case Conference of UNESCO Global Geoparks. Its major subject was the main directions of work on the preservation and popularization of the geological heritage of geoparks. The event has become a platform for the exchange of successful experience among expert practitioners in the field of creating and developing geoparks in Russia and the world. Representatives of Brazil, China, Greece, and Russia, which has applied to become a part of the network this November, have become the speakers of the conference. All in all, more than 50 representatives of UNESCO Global Geoparks took part at the event. On November, in the framework of the Third International Municipal BRICS Forum, we organized BRICS Youth Diplomacy Session. What does Generation Z choose? During the sessions, experts discussed what projects do young people organize today, how they do it, what helps and what hinders the launch and development of youth projects and programs in the BRICS space. On November, we took part in the first BRICS Forum organized by the Rudn University, Moscow, and supported by the National Committee for BRICS Research. Within the framework of the International Scientific and Practical Conference, Economics and Management of the Innovation Space of Emerging Markets, in the section Challenging the Traditions of Management, the 21st year of the 21st century. My colleague Kirill Ivanova shared our positive experience and told about the plans for the project office for the next year. On November, we held the 7th Russian-Chinese Youth Forum Volga Yangtze, where about 300 representatives of students of higher educational institutions located on the territory of the Volga federal districts of the Russian Federation and the provinces of the upper and middle reaches of the Yangtze River of the People's Republic of China, as well as university teachers participated. Sessions were held on science and innovation, education, youth entrepreneurship, tourism, culture, and art. On December, when the members of our project office took part as experts and students at the BRICS International School, which is a unique scientific and educational program aimed at training young experts specializing in BRICS studies in political, economical, humanitarian fields, and other relevant areas of interaction within the 5 countries. The school is organized annually by the National Committee for BRICS Research with the support of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Russian Federation. And now I would like to tell you about our plans for the nearest future. This is actually what we are experiencing right now. And the project office is happy to be part of the organizing team. The project, what was initiated by our project office and which is going to be held in March 2022, is the International Volunteer Online Conference BRICS to You. Its goal is to unite the active youth of the BRICS plus countries who are interested in volunteering. In April 2022, we are planning to hold the International Art Residence of Creative Industries. Representatives of various creative industries, fashion, graphic design, theater, cinema and animation, music, IT, graffiti, will be invited from BRICS plus countries to conduct master classes and present their products. The purpose of the project is to promote the creation and implementation of international youth creative projects in the Ulyanovsk region through the work of the art residence. In July 2022, the international project of BRICS Youth Self-Identification, the BRICS Code, is going to be held. It is a cultural and educational project dedicated to the theme Ornament as an Ethnographic Code of the Nation in the BRICS countries. The program will include lectures, masterclasses, exhibitions. A mobile and online exhibition representing the national historical ornaments of the BRICS countries will be created. On September 2022, the International Diplomatic Forum Inter-Volga 2022 will take place in Ulyanovsk. More than 150 specialists from 20 countries of the world, including representatives of federal authorities, subjects of Russian foreign institutions leading Russian foreign universities, representatives of the foreign diplomatic corps, and specialists in the field of international relations will take part in this event. So, dear participants, each of you are very welcome to contact us and share your ideas on youth cooperation, because your ideas can really become the basis for new joint projects. Thank you. And I'll be happy to ask your questions.
Thank you very much, Diana. We look forward to the questions from participants. I am pretty much sure that they have plenty to ask you and the other panelists. Colleagues, without wasting any further time, I would then like to move on to Divadathan Mia, an expert on public relations and media communications and representatives of the Times of India group in Russia. Over to you.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are now. Thank you.
Yeah. Good afternoon to you all. At the very outset, let me congratulate Mr. Akhil for his efforts to make this forum happen. So though it was planning to happen offline in Delhi, but for the latest developments of COVID, he had to cancel it and it had transformed into an online forum. Even then, I must congratulate him and all of you to make this forum happen. Let me start with this thing. The concept of BRICS, while it started long back in 2006, nobody has thought that it can impact the world in such a very large way. Today's date, if anybody likes BRICS or not, it is a power. It is a power. It has started showing its strength in all fields. And in connection with that, this youth forum has got a very, very important role to play, because in no time you will be taking over the reins of BRICS. You are the future of the world, so you will be carrying it further. So in that connection, as a media person, let me put my thoughts in very limited way. India has got a very good role to play in spreading this message to everyone. Whatever you are doing, I was listening to all the speakers. I'm very much impressed of hearing all these successful events which you have conducted last year, this year, and the future plans. I'm very much impressed and thrilled. Unless and until you spread this news to the world, the other part of the world, it will not have any impact or any effect on your work. How do we spread this message? Using the traditional media is not the way, because traditional media is already, you can say that it's a dead body. You need to use the new technologies. Social media is also not the forum, but you need to create your own way of spreading the message. How do we do that? It is, as of today, you can use in Russia, there is a TV channel called TV BRICS. You can develop that channel, and surrounding that channel, you can spread the news around. Use the YouTube channel, use the Instagram. And in Russia, social media, we contact. In China, Weibo. So the rest of the part, I think Facebook is very strong and Instagram is very strong. So use this traditional, instead of using the print media or radio or any other TV format, use this social media. This is the only way to spread the message. Spreading the message to all of the world is no use unless and until you convince your people, the people who are already involved in this process in Youth Forum. You need to convince them first, and they will spread in their channel through their channels. So first of all, you need to use this platform. Say, let me take an example of Russian Friendship University, that is so-called Rudayan or PFUR, has got to play a very good role because they have got 100 students from 156 countries. It's a huge. It's I don't think that anywhere in the world such an university exists. 156 countries. So under the banner of Rudayan, you can spread message among the students, youths. They are all going to be leaders of their particular countries where they have come from. So you have to use that platform, Rudayan platform, as one of the major platform to spread your success news, your whatever newses you are creating, whatever projects you are creating, whatever plans you have, you need to spread. And likewise in India, South Africa, Brazil, and China, you need to connect with those youths over there and find an university or a school to make it as a platform over there and spread it over there. My request is don't use the traditional media line, because media, they have got their own agendas, which may not suit your agenda, which may not suit your ideology. So instead of banging on traditional media houses, you must create your own media houses. In connection with that, I have a news to you. We are planning to open a Brics digest under the Times of India group maybe next year. It will create a online platform for covering all the newses of Brics countries. It is still under the process. Once it is finalized, I will let you know. I will let you know through Mr. Akil about the Brics digest. Till that time, the traditional platforms are already not useful for you. It is for the youths. You need to find your own way of communicating each other, like you do WhatsApp messaging or Telegram, Instagram. These are the channels you must use. You have to be very strong in this. Twitter. I don't see a youth forum have a Twitter forum. Twitter is nowadays very active, especially in India. It is very, very active. You must have a person of handling Twitter. So Twitter is a very active platform, and Instagram. These two platforms are more than enough. Twitter and Instagram is much more than enough for you to transform. And TV Brics is as a TV channel. It is there. You must use that channel. You must make it as a point that once in a while you must do a think tank conference through the TV Brics channel. So that will be useful for everyone. These are my thoughts, which when Mr. Akil approached me to speak on media connectivity, these are my thoughts of giving useful for this forum, for the youth, especially for the youth forum Brics, because there is traditional media. Please don't bang on traditional media for this your purposes. That is it. If anybody has got any question, I'm open for questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. We look forward to hearing more from you, and of course, I'm sure there are a number of questions from the participants. Colleagues, without wasting any further time, I would like to call upon Alexandra, who is the Deputy Director in the Institute for Statistical Studies and Economics of Knowledge, Higher School of Economics. Alexandra, over to you.
Yes, thank you very much. It's very, very good to see all of you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever, wherever you are. Do you see my slides? Excuse me.
visible.
Do you see my slides?
Yeah, your slide is visible.
Okay, okay. So I will start. So my presentation will be devoted to future prospects of science technology collaboration with BRICS plus countries. So we did a special study in this respect. Just a moment. Excuse me. What is BRICS plus? We used there are many definitions, so we use the following one. It's major emerging economies and developing countries to be addressed for strengthening mutually beneficial cooperation for common development, which was made by a summit of BRICS in Durban. And what we did in our study, we tried to identify potential countries in BRICS plus for science technology collaboration with BRICS. And we use the following criteria to identify those countries. First, the size of the country, population, economic potential, gross domestic product, size of research and development sector, in terms of gross expenditure on R&D, and number of researchers, and the research output, number of publications, index, and scopus. And among other criteria were coverage of different regions. And we focused primarily on developing countries from global south. We identified, using this criteria, we identified 21 countries from Europe, Central Asia, Africa, South Asia, Latin America. And you can see the list of these states in your screen. And what we analyzed the key issues related to research and development in the countries, like gross expenditure, expenditure on R&D. Excuse me. Excuse me, it's disappeared. Excuse me, something. Excuse me, I will continue. So what we found in our study, that we saw that although BRICS plus are not very well represented in research and development, but some of them demonstrate fast growth, and they might be very interesting partners for establishing research collaboration for BRICS countries. We identified that some of you can see from the slides, some of the BRICS plus countries demonstrate extremely high growth rate in number of publications. For example, in Indonesia, in 2 years, just in 2 years, number of publications has been growing in more than 4,000%. And the same growth, or similar growth, is demonstrated by Iran, Malaysia, Vietnam, and few other states. So they are growing very fast. What we also found that the research and development agenda of BRICS plus countries is very diverse. So you can find good partners in BRICS plus in almost in every scientific field. Also, what we found that in many states, you can see in this slide that green means that these areas are very strong for individual states. Like for Algeria, you can see the decision sciences or mathematics or physics and astronomy. For Chile is agriculture and biological science, arts and humanity, and so on. So you can see that there are many areas for potential collaboration in BRICS plus states. Also, they are not just doing some research, but they are very high ranked in internationally in particular areas. You can see in this slide with green market the areas which are very well developed in individual states. For example, many of countries in individual areas are ranked very highly globally. For example, in dentistry, Turkey is very strong in chemical engineering. Iran is very strong in environmental science. We can see in the Indonesia is ranked very high. So you can find top level research in most of BRICS Plus states. It means that you can establish very fruitful and useful collaboration with them in these areas. So the key findings were that for BRICS states, there are different fields of excellence which are demonstrated by this study. For example, in Russia, it's physics and technology. For China, it's engineering. For India, is more or less balanced among different research areas. Brazil more gravitates to medicine and agricultural biological science. South Africa has more specific strengths in social sciences, humanities. For BRICS Plus countries, we also see some key subject areas like medicine, engineering, computer science, and agricultural and biological sciences. But also many others areas are marked with excellence in different states from BRICS Plus, like agricultural and biological science, medicine for Nigeria, Ethiopia, Kenya. For Southeast Asia, like Bangladesh, Indonesia, Malaysia, Vietnam, and areas of engineering and computer science are rather strong. Also, excuse me. Also, excuse me. Also, we can see that the collaboration within BRICS and the BRICS with BRICS Plus states has been growing recently, in particular during the last 5, 6, 7 years. It means that the process is going, but we need to accelerate it if we want to move fast in this respect. Also, you can see that growth of joint papers with BRICS, within BRICS and with BRICS Plus is also demonstrated during the last years. We can see that growth of joint papers with BRICS for Malaysia, for example, is just incredible. For Saudi Arabia, it's also incredible. It's growing like very, very fast. Just a moment. So, what we see from our study, that science technology collaboration between BRICS countries is growing, but there is a big room for much faster growth. Cooperation with countries is still rather poor, but also we have several states, several countries which demonstrate very fast progress and can be considered as promising candidates for research collaboration. Among them, there are Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Malaysia, Pakistan, Chile, Thailand, Iran, Egypt, and a few other states. The most promising BRICS Plus partners for BRICS countries are as follows. For Brazil, it's more Argentina, Colombia, Chile, and Mexico. For Russia, Turkey, and Mexico, plus few other countries. For India, Saudi Arabia, and Malaysia, plus few other countries. For China, for Pakistan, and Saudi Arabia, plus more countries from BRICS Plus. And for South Africa, it's Nigeria, plus few other countries from different regions of the world. So it means that we should establish closer collaboration with BRICS Plus. and not to consider only the countries which I mentioned probably, but few other states which might be very interesting from the viewpoint of establishing closer collaboration in different research areas. So you can see, you can find much more information in our several publications. One of them is published recently. It's BRICS Competitiveness Innovation Competitiveness, BRICS Comprehensive Innovation Competitiveness report, which was published in China, and also you can see several papers in the leading research journals. Thank you very much for your attention. I'll finish at this point.
Thank you very much for the presentation. And I'm sure the participants have got many other questions to follow. Our last speaker for this session, ladies and gentlemen, will be Elsa, who is a junior fellow at the National Research Institute of World Economy and International Relations. Elsa, over to you.
Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great then. First of all, I want to thank the organizing committee for the invitation to join your discussion today. Today, our colleagues gave us very detailed, very interesting information on the current and future projects of BRICS cooperation, and I would like to consider the matter of cooperation from the other side. As we know, some experts say the BRICS should be institutionalized. Some of them are sure that countries have so less in common and the competition between them is much more obvious than cooperation, that their domestic and foreign policies differ significantly. In order to see prospects of the BRICS and to enhance cooperation, the representatives should keep some moments in mind. I'll try to give some general review of challenges that BRICS countries face today. It seems that political interaction of the BRICS countries is influenced by both internal and external factors. Internal factors are determined by the political, economic, and other characteristics of the 5 countries, as well as peculiarities of their bilateral relations. First of all, there are economic factors. They are conditioned by differences in economic conjuncture of the 5 countries, as well as the rivalry, actually, of individual economies, especially between China and India. Their economics imbalance remains and became, unfortunately, more obvious these days because of the epidemic situation. Next are demographic and resource factors. As we know, BRICS countries make almost 42% of the world population and only 26% of the world territory. These factors are essential in relations between Russia, China, and India as neighboring countries. Interaction within fairly limited space and intersection of state interests for resources inevitably lead to the rivalry. These countries will be forced to intensify and expand the search for resources to ensure better life for such large population. And this fact does not contribute, unfortunately, to the decline of tension between India and China started last year. Next are military and strategic factors, which are pointed out by some experts as the difference of military budget, arms production, and strength of armies. I suppose that these factors are quite questionable. Of course, BRICS countries' military abilities and priorities differ significantly, but the BRICS was never considered by 5 countries as kind of counterweight to NATO or some other structures. And the last but not the least, factors, geopolitical factors. They are often associated with the geographical location and the historically established relationships of countries with each other, as well as the formation ways of their spheres of influence and interaction with other major actors in world politics. One often hears about the complexity of relations and rivalry between China and India in establishing and expanding spheres of influence in South, Southeast, and Central Asia, as well as on the African continent, control over trade routes in the Indian Ocean, the Strait of Malacca, and ensuring their national security as they see it. The unresolved border dispute still remain between Beijing and New Delhi as a separate problem. As for Brazil and South Africa, their remoteness from the Eurasia and 3 other countries of BRICS stipulated ties not so intensive that it could be and it should be. Next group is the external challenges. External challenges for the BRICS countries, so one may include here events in politics, economics, military affairs, and informational technologies, as well as actions taken by the Western Bloc countries in order to undermine mutual trust within BRICS, and attempts of interference in domestic political processes, which partly takes force of the participants, of BRICS participants, and creates obstacles for stable growth and prosperity. And of course, obstacles for fruitful cooperation of BRICS countries. This classification of challenges to fruitful cooperation of the BRICS countries is rather conditional, since in reality, all of the above factors affect and are taken into account together and thereby create a single canvas of the countries' interrelations. So I suppose at this moment I should stop because challenges are quite deep and have so deep roots, so we need much more time. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Elsa, and all the speakers. Let me take this opportunity to acknowledge all our speakers. Let me acknowledge all the partner organizations that are part of the organizing committee. Let me acknowledge the sponsors. And also let me acknowledge the participants for taking their time to come to this session and listen to the speakers. I would then now open the process or open the floor for questions. When you raise your question, you please provide your name, you provide your country, you can also provide your organization, if any, that you are affiliated with. And you also then provide the name of the speaker in which you want to address your question. That is then followed by your question. So it's your name, country, organization, if any. If you want to ask a question to Elsa, you say this question is posed to Elsa, and you pose your question. I would then like to start by taking a round of 5 questions, and let's see how we're doing with time. Once we're done with the 5 questions, if there is an additional time, we will take another round of questions. Let me then open the space, the floor for questions. Any questions from participants?
In which format they should write their question? They should write either in the chat or what? How do you suggest?
So if we can take 5. The first round, they can raise their hands and pose their questions to a particular speaker. But those that can not or are not able to do that, they are more than welcome to write their questions on the chat. Tumisang, can you assist with unmuting Dumisang?
Good afternoon to all the speakers. My name is Tumisang Victoria Maheso. I am from South Africa, currently in Moscow. I have a question for Mr. Sydney. I think I already just wrote the question down, but I want to ask him in this platform so that he can provide us with information. So with what he was saying, he touched base on a lot of how contributions that South Africa is getting from the BRICS and its corporations. So my question is, how many, if there are any, and how is South Africa contributing to the BRICS countries? What is South Africa's role? What is South Africa playing in making contributions to BRICS countries? Because with everything that he was saying, he was touching base on what BRICS countries are doing for South Africa.
Thank you, Dumisang.
Thank you.
Next question. While we wait for, so the idea was to take a round of questions, 5, and the speakers could respond. But in absentia of questions, okay, there is another hands. Mokano, can you please assist unmuting Mokano?
Thank you, Chair. Am I audible?
Yes.
My name is Mokano. I'm from South Africa, and I'm affiliated with SBYA. So one question that I wanted to ask, it's more of a general question. I think all the speakers have indicated the level of contribution the BRICS has internationally. But what I wanted to know, I wanted to ask in terms of the perception of the youth as to what extent has this youth platform contributed towards the priorities of the broader 30th BRICS Summit, and what kind of programs emanated from that? Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other question from participants? While we don't have, or while they think about the questions, I would like to give Mr. Sydney an opportunity to respond to the question posed to him. What is SA's roles in making or contribution to the BRICS?
Hello, sir. My question is like there are tension between India as well as China. So how come the tension is affecting between the other 3 nations? How these tensions are affecting the other 3 nations? Can you please answer this? Thank you. It's open for all speakers.
Which country are you from?
My name is Kaustubh and I'm from India.
Thank you. Do we have Mr. Sydney online? While we wait for Mr. Sydney, is there anyone from the panel who would like to take the second question and the third question? Perception of the youth and its contribution to the BRICS agenda. Any of our panelists who wants to take up this question? Yes, Valeriia?
Oh, thank you for unmute me. But I see that Sydney is here, so he's ready to answer the first question. Maybe he will start answering the question.
Okay. Thank you for the question. I'm not sure. Maybe it's the framing of the question because she's saying, what is South Africa's role in other BRICS countries? As in, because I said up there that how we benefit as South Africa, how we benefited from the NDB, national, what you call the Development Bank, and because this is not a kind of bilateral sort of cooperation. So the benefits that are accrued from the BRICS do not necessarily BRICS cooperation do not necessarily do not necessarily translate to what South Africa and India, for example, or China, example, are doing in the bilateral level. So, but when it comes to this BRICS cooperation, we all benefit in one way or the other from each other. Because if you look at the first layer of cooperation, which is political and security, for example, one of the speakers alluded to the issue of counterterrorism strategy that was adopted. Now the Indian chair have come up with the action plan for that strategy. That is a whole way of looking at it. It's not necessarily that South Africa is getting more than the others in terms of this cooperation that we having. So, but I've said it to Rory Sang that we can take this further via other platform of communication. Then we can, because I can see how strongly she feels about how South Africa is contributing to other BRICS countries. But there is definitely that contribution. It may not be tangible as you look at it from outside, but it is there. All these countries have benefited from the NDP, from the Development Bank, so we all contribute into the pocket of the Development Bank. So it does not necessarily that we are all there's one country that is benefiting than the other. But if we talk about bilateral cooperation, of course, there is that little bit of maybe imbalance in terms of maybe trade and investment and all that. But we can take it further with Rory Sang and yeah, we can take it further. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you very much for that response. I just want to make it one addition to that is how BRICS works. BRICS works on consensus. So all the decisions and the programs that BRICS embark on, they must be consensual from the 5 member states. So if, for instance, 4 of the member states say we want to establish the third leg of the BRICS, which is third track, which we call it people-to-people civil society track 3, and one of the member states does not align to that decision. That decision cannot pass. It will require all members to agree in that. So all the decisions as well as the programs that are taken by the BRICS member states must be consensual. Thank you very much. Valeriia, over to you with the response to question number 2. And if you can also refer to question number 3. And also other speakers can jump in there if they want to.
Thank you, Raymond. So if I got the question on youth perception rightly, so I would like to comment that I made sure that you are aware on the BRICS Youth Summit which takes part annually, and that the aim of the Youth Summit is to arrange all the initiatives and ideas for BRICS future cooperation and development from youth, and deliver them, those initiatives and ideas and proposals to the leaders. So actually, all those proposals are really needable, and they usually supported by the leaders. So if you will open any of the declarations of the BRICS summits, you will see that leaders acknowledge the role of youth in BRICS, and especially the cooperation and all those initiatives that came from the youth. So actually the role of the youth is really a big one, and of course this is maybe one of the most prioritized areas within the BRICS people-to-people cooperation. So if you would like to be a member of this big BRICS family and develop as a youth leader, you should of course join any of the projects which are named today from the partner organizations. And of course, during the chairship, all of you have the opportunity to become a member of the BRICS Youth Summit delegation. You just need to trace the application process from your federal agencies on youth cooperation. So in Russia, it's Rosmolodezh, and in BRICS countries, you should follow the federal agencies for youth cooperation. Each country gather and form its own national delegation. So each of young leaders have a chance to become a member of BRICS Youth Summit, as it was last year, for example, in Ulyanovsk. As for the question considering the India-China relations and how it may maybe ruin the whole BRICS system or the friendship between all our countries. Actually, since 2017, we see that even the escalation of some situation in Ladakh between the militaries from India and China didn't change the plans of our leaders to meet on during the BRICS summit in Samain. There are mechanisms within BRICS which helps us to maintain the consensus, even if we have some bilateral tensions. So that was the first time when BRICS showed its solidarity for all, and this year it was like the second time the Western media tried to to highlight that again there are tensions between India and China, but still they are promising the end of BRICS, but we're still alive. So special thanks to the dialogue between our ministers of foreign affairs and those who are intended to hold the dialogue between the ministers of defense. And of course, all these mechanisms helps us to maintain dialogue despite all the difficulties we have inside BRICS. I hope I answered your question. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Valeriia. Any other speakers would like to jump into the two questions? While the speakers are preparing, I just want to make an addition in terms of the youth. We've been working progressively, although it might be a slow process, but it's slowly getting there in getting some of the pragmatic ideas that are coming out of from youth to getting implemented. Of course, in the past few years, the youth the youth agendas have been mentioned in the declarations and so forth. But we do still think that there is a lot of work to be done in terms of implementation and addressing some of the challenges that youth are facing within the BRICS nations. And we can only do that by working together as young people from the BRICS and speaking with one voice through the BRICS Youth Summit, which we normally submit the recommendations to the BRICS Sherpas, to the leaders through the BRICS Sherpas offices. I see there is a hand from one of our speakers who want to respond to the questions. Deva, over to you.
Yes, yes. I would like to add on to the question by Mr. Kaustubh from India about the Indo-Russian tensions. As a media person, from the media perspectives, we have seen this. This is the question. This question is very valid question on there, especially among the critics of BRICS. They all say that India and China is fighting each other, and there is no more relevance for the BRICS. But I must say, as a media person, it is not like that. This topic has been mentioned many times by both the leaders. I mean, the Indian leaders as well as the Chinese leaders. We will sort it out over the table, and it is happening now. That tension which we had last 3 years, which is no more anymore. It is, of course, it is there. Any neighboring countries have got tensions like anywhere in the world. It's like the same way. India and China, India and Pakistan, India and Bangladesh. So it is always there should be some tensions between the neighbors. It's like in common life also. If we live in a condominium, in a housing colony, there is a neighbor. There are some tensions are there. So it is no way affecting the BRICS, no way affecting the BRICS agenda, no way affecting the BRICS works format. Otherwise, this kind of forum wouldn't have been happened. So let me add to my friend and colleague, Mr. Kaustubh. It is no way affecting the BRICS agenda, and no way, it is not the agenda for BRICS at all, or any other forum at all. It is BRICS CEO, and it is strictly between India and China, and we are able to sort this out among ourselves. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deva. In closing, colleagues, I would like to ask if there is anyone with a burning question. Anyone who has a question that is they can't go on without it being addressed. All right. Thank you very much, colleagues. Let me take this opportunity to thank all the speakers, all our speakers. We really appreciate your time. And if there are questions, written questions, written submissions from the participants, we will try to reach out to you with those questions. Let me also thank all the organizers as well as the partners. Let me also thank all the participants who has taken their time to be with us during this morning towards the afternoon. Thank you all for making time. Ladies and gentlemen, this session is officially closed. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
У вас не получится мою получить?
Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you guys after a break, little break.
Дорогие коллеги, замечательно прошла первая сессия, и хочу сказать, что по формату участников, по тому позитиву, по той конкретике, которая сопутствует сегодняшней встрече, мы можем назвать наш сегодняшний вообще форум молодежный, можем назвать гражданским форумом БРИКС, потому что в этом году как-то его так не случилось в таком формате. Но сегодня, я думаю, в полной мере можно назвать его гражданским БРИКС. И предлагаю вот такую маленькую идею, как, на ваш взгляд, мы в свое время выступали с этим предложением, написать молодежный гимн молодежи стран БРИКС, гимн. И мы всегда на всех мероприятиях, на всех каких-то презентациях, то есть это будет наша такая музыкальная, такая визитная карточка молодежи БРИКС. Как вам эта идея? Это такая радостная нота. Коллеги. Акил Махамад, ваше мнение?
Ну, думаю, возможно. Мы все здесь собираем, это да, конечно, можем.
Да.
Ваша поддержка есть, делаем.
Конечно, главное, мы можем, у нас 5 языков есть, и мы делаем гимн на 5 языках. То есть это просто, это такая творческая, международная такая идея, ведь нас объединяет и искусство тоже и так далее. Гимн – это будет нашим, повторяю, музыкальной такой визитной карточкой. Всего доброго, спасибо вам.
Спасибо.